Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Mosquitoes are out and about with their West Nile virus and their Zika virus. Well, if you have an outdoor event planned this summer, family reunion, church picnic, whatever, call Southeast Termite and Pest Control for a one-time treatment of the area. Clear out all the skeeters, make you and your guests comfortable. Southeast Termite and Pest Control, you can also call them to do regular treatments on your home. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right. This is our hot read segment, so everybody gets a very quick question. I'm going to start down there with Mr. Cavaleris and work our way back. Chuck, it turns out Butch Jones' special announcement was the naming of 4 permanent captains for the fall, a first for him. Dobbs, Kamara, Sutton, Reeves, Maben. You got your starting quarterback, and you got the 3 guys who decided to come back last year. Some folks weren't happy to be underwhelmed with the special announcement. Was it false advertising?
I thought it was pushing the envelope a little bit because I actually had somebody tell me that, hey, Peyton Manning's going to be on the field just before. And it was going to be a cutout, cardboard, that they're throwing passes to. But if you know Butch Jones, you know he's about 2 things, competition among players and recruiting. And I thought it was a recruiting infomercial. Tennessee players, you need to stay in Tennessee. So, yes and no, but I think you come to expect that a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't go in. I'm not going to be really disappointed over a special announcement in the spring game. I didn't expect much unless it involved Manning. Anything not involving Manning was going to underwhelm.
And disappointment.
Disappointment, my favorite word, and disappointment. All right, Jimmy. David Yancey, former walk-on running back at Tennessee. I'd forgotten he was a nuclear engineering major. But every spring, he would be the running back that would star in the spring game, and then in the fall, the stars would come out and they'd give them the carries. We're going to take John Kelly. He's the most obvious apples-to-apples comparison. So we're going to take him out just to make it tough. Of these 3 guys that starred yesterday, Cortez Sapp, Markeel Osborne, Jeff George, who of those 3 is most likely to do the David Yancey thing? Splash on spring game, not so splashy in the fall.
That's hard for me. I'm going to rule Sapp out because I think he's a really good football player. He's been around a while. It comes down to me, to George and Osborne. I got to be honest, until the spring game, I was not that impressed with George, but what he did in the spring game, with the catches he made, with the size he has, with his ability maybe to catch some fade routes, I think he could end up having a bigger impact than Osborne. Now, I like Osborne a lot, but I think he could get lost in the shuffle with so many other good defensive backs. So I'm going to say Osborne.
Sapp, we know will be on the field. You've got George, who can make a red zone target. So I would agree with you. I think you're right. Osborne gets the Yancey Award, and now Mr. Osborne can come out and prove everyone wrong. Mike Strange, which position swap this spring will have the biggest impact on the field this fall? Rashawn Golden moving from nickel back to safety. Josh Smith moving from wide out to the slot. Or Jason Kroom moving from receiver to tight end. He's going to have to learn not to run people over out there. Thoughts? Golden, Kroom, or Smith, biggest impact this fall?
Well, I think Smith and I think Golden are going to have an impact wherever they play because they're good players. I think I'm going to go with the Jason Kroom from receiver to tight end because I think this offense, there's going to be a lot of short throws as opposed to vertical throws. I think the tight end has a big chance to be a major factor, and I think he's suited for that. I think this could be a good year, a good move for him, and a good year.
All right, Jason Kroom is his call, and you mentioned tight ends yesterday, Bob. Josh Dobbs on a play-action pass hit Ethan Wolf, tight end, for 57 yards. Nice play, probably the nicest play of the game. We saw some of each of these last year for bursts, little bits of them. Which does Tennessee need to have more of in 2016? Play-action passes, like you saw yesterday. I formation, put a fullback in there and run in short yardage. Chuck just popped up. Or the run-pass options that everybody's doing now, which with a guy like Dobbs, I like the idea of the more RPOs, as they're called.
I like a little bit more of all of that, but the one I'm going to go with is the I formation and the fullback, because I just think that Tennessee now, for the first time in a while, you look like you have the offensive line that can just get down and push some people backwards. On short yardage situations, I just despise starting the play 7 yards deep in the backfield when you need a yard. And so I think with the offensive line you've got now, with the running back that you've got now, that I think the I formation is just going to be a little bit of a touch that you can sort of man up and just say, hey, we need a yard, we're going to come straight at you, and we'll get it.
Saw it a couple times against Northwestern, but it's amazing how many teams. I mean, it started. We've talked about this
Yes.
dating back to the return of David Cutcliffe in 2006, and we were complaining. As great as David Cutcliffe was, it drove us all mad that 3rd and 1, you're in a shotgun.
Yep.
It's incredible how the short yardage package is just kind of leaving football for a lot of these schools. Thoughts? Does everybody agree with that? Would everybody go with
I agree
with
with
those
Bob.
3?
And I remember a conversation I had with David before he took over. I said, there are 2 things I'd like to see you do, and one of them is, on 3rd and 1, don't go into the shotgun. I hear. So the first game, they go into the shotgun on 3rd and 1. He said it's hard to gain a yard regardless of what you're doing. He said, look at the NFL. Well, I think it's harder in the NFL. In college football, you run the ball a lot more successfully. Heck, if you run for 130 yards in the NFL, that's pretty good. Yeah. You run for 130 yards in the SEC, you rank 14th in rushing. So I see that as very different. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you need to line up, power, and go at people. And in a lot of cases, I'd use my 240-pound running back.
Well, and you see some of the most successful teams in college football do that. You know, Ohio State, that's how they won a national championship, that philosophy. If you're going to preach, we're the most physical team, I think sometimes you have to line up in that formation and prove it.
All right, there we go. When we come back, we're going to talk about Josh Dobbs. One of our VFL quarterbacks is here. The other one couldn't make it, but we'll tell you, we'll surprise you with who it's going to be. I'll give you a hint. Put on your earplugs. Come on back on the Sports Source.